Well, the clock is ticking for Gauteng parents to register their children for grades 1 and 8 for 2017. They have until midnight to use the Education Department's online service for next year's school admissions. The online registration process went live earlier this year. There were some teething problems in the initial stages, and the admissions process had to be postponed twice. The department system crashed due to the volume of registrations. Over 680,000 learners have thus far been captured on the system. The department had set a target of 500,000 new applications, so having exceeded their target, the Education Department is gearing up to tackle other concerns, such as the registration of the children of foreign nationals living in Gauteng. Education officials are in talks with the Home Affairs Department to try and resolve this. Well, joining me now in studio is Gauteng Education MEC Panyaza Lesufi. MEC, welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much, Tasha. Are you well?
Very well, thank you. I'm sure I'm probably getting more sleep than you are as the clock is ticking, as we've said. It is a great initiative. It's designed to make life simpler for people, but we know about those earlier teething problems. So it hasn't been easy, has it?
The takeoff was bumpy and rough.
Yeah.
But while we are airborne, it went smoothly. As you said in your intro, with more than 650,000 parents that applied. It's an overwhelming success. Now we're about to land around midnight. I'm quite convinced that we are going to land safely as well and in a position to plan for learners we place in our schools. It's a very important program. It's a very important project that we have undertaken as a department. And the reasons are simple. We want to know how many teachers we need next year at the beginning of the year. We want to know how many textbooks we must order. We want to know how many classrooms we must build. We want to know how many desks we must order. And you can't do that when people apply during the month of January and they want to be in their classroom immediately. So we're quite excited that majority of parents have adhered to our call. From the 25th of June to the 26th of July, we start the placements. And after July, we'll deal with appeals, and thereafter, we'll be ready to prepare for the 2017 academic year. So parents have until midnight to apply. When it closes, unfortunately, it closes. We're not going to open it again.
All right. Okay, we'll get to what happens to those who haven't been able to register in a moment. I just want to look at the numbers that you spoke about now. As you said, this is about getting to know how many teachers, classrooms, etc. you need. You're over 189,000 more applications.
Yeah.
Can you, based on the numbers that you know now, can you accommodate these extra numbers?
Every learner will be accommodated. The only exclusion clause, unfortunately, is that you might not be accommodated at the school of your first choice.
Okay.
Because every parent has 3 choices. So if you can't place on choice 1, we'll place on choice 2. If you can't place on choice 2, we'll place on choice 3. If you can't place on choice 3, we'll place you where there is availability. But all learners will be placed in our schools. Remember, it's only grade 1 and grade 8 only. So we have enough room to accommodate majority of people. Unfortunately, after the 26th of July, majority of parents will be disappointed because they're not going to be placed at their first choice school.
Yeah.
And then they need to be placed on either second choice or third choice schools.
Okay, and it was this placement issue, wasn't it, that was sort of the main criticism that you received for this process. So just tell us a bit more about placement to sort of allay the fears of parents.
There are 3 processes. They're very important processes. Firstly, after you've applied online, the system will send you an SMS, and it also requests you to bring documents within 14 days. Why we are requesting those documents within 14 days is so that we can verify, indeed, you are a parent of that child, you are in care of that particular child, and you are responsible for whatever that the school might need from the child. After 14 days, then that's the process that we're in. They deposit all the documents in our major data bank. From the 26th, then we sift within the data bank, and then we confirm your placement. If you are not happy, then you've got another 21 days to appeal to the department. And then the department will try to mitigate and meet with the school. If the school is indeed convinced that they can't accept you, then the parent can appeal again to my office. And on the basis of that, we can then place a child or not place that particular child. So it's quite a long process, but it's a very important process.
And what happens to parents that aren't able to register by midnight?
I hope they're not, because the pain is too much.
Yeah.
It affects many things. Actually, it affects the education of the child that we are trying to protect. So I will urge all parents, please, 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 meet the deadline. If you can't miss the deadline, I can tell you, your child can be placed in a school as late as April next year, because we'll start with those that are in the system first before we entertain those that are outside the system. So it will be in your best interest to start to register your child before midnight tonight, because if you can't, unfortunately, as I said, we will only allocate resources on the basis of the information that we have, because I have to go to other government departments, treasury, local government for extra water or electricity power and all other things. So if your child is not in the system, it makes it very, very difficult for us to get these basic resources for our children.
And we understand there are still some problems with children of foreign nationals. What's happening around
that's a
that?
headache. That's a headache, Tash. We didn't anticipate that. We didn't pick that up. And the system can't register them because you need formal documents for you to be registered. So we anticipate a total of 25,000 children that will be excluded out of this process. Hence, our need to interact with the Home Affairs Department. They're very positive. I've already spoken to them. So we'll find a way of managing it. What we will do in the interim, we'll allow the children to be registered manually and request Home Affairs to provide relevant documents at the later stage. It's better to have them in the system because it allows us to plan, and then we'll deal with all the other things. But we don't want to break the laws of this country. So it's a balancing act that I believe we'll manage jointly with the Department of Home Affairs.
All right, to MEC, I hope it all goes well from here on out. Thank you very much for coming in and for your time.
I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you.